This is Citizen Weekend with Olive Barrows.
Return our children. Families continue in anguish despite government assurances over abductions. Welcome to Citizen Weekend. We begin, as is the custom, with the highlights.
Hii Kenya watu kupotea na polisi wasemi ndio wanalinda zizi na mali zetu na wai wetu. Sasa itakuanje hawajui mahali yako.
Pain and outrage. More families of abducted youth emerge to demand for their release.
You cannot govern people by force. And you cannot force them to do what you want.
Tear gas and goons. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's meeting disrupted yet again. Austerity for who? Control of budget exposes wastage of billions of shillings through travel by members of parliament.
Tutalipa hash na hasha baki huko kwa lamu na tubebe maiti na miguu yetu, ama tukae kama punda tubebe maiti kwa migongo.
Kisumu residents stage protest over poor state of the Muhoroni-Kericho Road. My name is Olive Barrows and I'm joined by our sign language interpreter, Yula Nzale. We begin tonight's bulletin with continued abductions outrage, with the families of those abducted narrating the harrowing ordeal they've had to endure over the last 1 week. They say it has been agonizing and they've had to bear with sleepless nights in search of their kin. Their loved ones, allegedly taken by individuals believed to be government operatives, remain missing, and all efforts to locate them have been in vain. Desperate and heartbroken, these families are pleading with the government to come forward, disclose any involvement and release their loved ones if they are indeed in custody. As you'll hear now from Ben Kirui, none among the missing individuals has been seen despite President William Ruto's pledge on Friday to stop the rising spate of abductions.
The Christmas season has not been too merry for the family of Bernard Kavuli, who was abducted on Sunday in Ngong, Kajiado County by individuals believed to be government operatives. His mother, Kalimi Kavuli, has been in anguish and inconsolable since her son's disappearance.
Nataka mtoto wangu apatikane, anadhiwa salama. Sikuli tangu Bernati anapotea.
Kila wakati ananipigia simu na kuniuliza kama nimesikia kitu yoyote kuhusu mtoto wake. Inafika wakati mpaka namwambia mtoto wetu atapatikana na naendelea kushughulika aniwachie, at least ndio nimpee amani.
The family of the 4th year journalism student is baffled by his sudden abduction, with the police denying any involvement. They are pleading with the government to come forward, disclose Bernard's whereabouts, and if he has violated any laws, produce him in court to face a due process.
Kazi ya serikali inafanya kazi gani Kenya? Kama Kenya kunapotea mtu leo, kesho apotee mwingine, kesho apotee mwingine. Na ukiuliza polisi wanasema hawauziki. Na kama hawauziki na hakuna mwingine anaongea. Sasa inamaanisha tunaishi Kenya gani? Hii Kenya watu kupotea na polisi wasemi ndio wanalinda zizi na mali zetu na wai wetu. Sasa itakuanje hawajui mahali yako? Na hakuna mwingine anasema kama wao njui mimi najua mahali yako.
Ofu yetu ni kushindwa sasa mahali alipelekwa ni wapi. Angekuwa tunajua mahali yako. Ingekuwa police station, angekuwa kotini twende tumuone, ashtakiwe, vitu kama hizo tungekuwa na amani. Lakini sai hatujui kabisa. Usingizi haipatikani. Naamka saa 8 ya usiku, naangalia kwa balcony, naangalia mimi ndugu yangu ameachiliwa. Mimi amekosa kifunguo ya kuingia kwa nyumba.
Following his disappearance, residents of Kalamba Muyo in Mumoni Ward, Kitui County, staged a protest to condemn the abduction. The demonstrators issued an ultimatum demanding Bernard's release, threatening to paralyze transportation in the area if their demands are not met.
Tunaomba serikali tafadhali kama inawezekana iweze kumwajilia haraka iwezekanavyo. Na wasipofanya hivyo kwa muda wa siku 7, tutafunga njia ya kutoka Kamuongo kwenda Mwingi ama tufunge hata ya kwenda Nairobi.
We want our son within the next 24 hours. Sure. Sound and safe. Yes. Sound and safe. Sound and safe. Hiyo ndio tunasema 24 hours. Tunataka kijana wetu ambaye tunampenda, and he was exercising is a democratic right to say whatever it is that he wrote in social media. And it's the right of every Kenyan in our constitution to express yourself.
The Kavuli family is not alone in their anguish. The families of Billy Mwangi, Peter Muteti and Gideon Kibet also remain in the dark, having heard nothing about their loved ones since their abductions. This is despite President William Ruto's pledge to end abductions and restore public trust in national security. The disappearance of Muteti also sparked protests. Residents of Kimurin Mudhambi ward in Tharaka Nithi, joined by family members, staged a demonstration on Saturday demanding his release. Tensions escalated as the demonstration turned into a blockade of the Meru-Nairobi highway, paralyzing transport in the area for several hours. Meanwhile, the Embu County Security Committee has appealed for more time to investigate the mysterious disappearance of the 24-year-old Billy Mwangi after residents issued a 24-hour ultimatum demanding his safe return. Embu residents took to the streets on Friday in mass protests, vowing to escalate their demonstrations if Mwangi remains unaccounted for. In response, Embu County Police Commander Samuel Mudhami called for calm and patience, emphasizing that the security teams are working around the clock to bring the matter to a resolution. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
A section of political leaders across the country has strongly condemned the increasing spate of abductions, demanding urgent action from the government and responsible use of social media. The leaders have underscored the need for protection of constitutional rights and freedoms, challenging security agencies to stick to their mandate of keeping Kenyans safe. Their sentiments come at a time when the rage over the abductions continues to build up and as the push for the youth-led nationwide demonstrations next week gains momentum. Safin Acheng Oma has more.
For an end to the increasing spate of abductions across the country continue to get louder as the push for the youth-led nationwide demonstrations next week gains momentum.
Down with injustice, down. Down. Down with oppression, down. Down.
A group of young people from Mombasa County have vowed to take to the streets should the government fail to address the abductions.
Leo nikinyamaza, juu Kibet ameshikwa, juu Roni Kiplang'ata ameshikwa, juu Billy Mwangi ameshikwa, juu Bernard Kavuli ameabdaktiwa, kesho ni mimi. My silence inawapatia power ya kuendelea kutushika sisi wote.
Coming out and telling us that haujui ni nani anafanya kazi kwa wananchi, ina maana hao ambao wana abduct vijana wetu, wana abduct bwana zetu, bibi zetu, mandugu zetu ni wahalifu.
Kuanzia leo, ikiwa tutapata mtu yoyote anashika kijana bila ya kutoa beji ya kujitambulisha kwamba yeye ni polisi, yeye ni askari, tutafanya the citizen arrest. Sisi tutamshika na sisi ndio tutampeleka kotini kwa sababu sisi si wavunjaji sheria.
Speaking in Tezo Ward in Kilifi County during the burial of Bishop James Kahinde Zero of Pefa Church Malindi, National Assembly Deputy Majority Leader Owen Bayer called upon the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the National Police Service and other security agencies suspected to be behind the abductions to stop the abductions.
Nikiona vijana wanashikwa na hawajulikani wameenda wapi, mimi nasikia vibaya kwa sababu hiyo sio katiba ya Kenya. Kwa hiyo mimi nataka niwaambie wale ambao wamepewa mamlaka DCI na National Police Service na wale wote wamepewa mamlaka, tafadhalini kama kuna watu ambao wanapanga kushika wananchi wengine na kuabduct, I will tell you here in Kilifi you must stop.
Similar calls were made by Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwengi Mutuse, who was in Makindu in Makueni County.
We cannot, at this hour in our country, allow a few people to muzzle our freedom of speech. It is wrong, and it cannot be allowed in a democratic state like ours. It is going to lower the standing of our country in the international community, and every sound thinking Kenyan must say no to abductions.
And in Siaya County, a section of leaders from Nyanza region also called for the respect of the Bill of Rights, which guarantees the freedom of expression.
Now, the Bill of Rights give you an opportunity to say whatever you want, at whatever time, as long as what you say and what you do does not infringe on the rights of others. President Ruto, kindly act. If somebody has gone wrong and has turned rogue, let him be arrested and be presented before a court of law to be charged.
If there are a number that are accurate and are real, we want to urge them to resolve them. But we want to say that all the stories about abductions, most of them are not genuine. They are aimed at tarnishing the name of the government. They are aimed at bringing the government down.
The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights says that 13 abductions have been reported over the last 3 months, bringing to 82 the total number of abductions in the country since the anti-government protests in June this year. Safin Acheng Oma, Citizen TV.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua had to run for dear life after a tear gas canister was lobbed and went off a few meters from where he was seated today, together with other leaders. The Thanksgiving event for Shamata Ward MCA Gitau Njamba in Nyandarua was disrupted and quickly turned into a melee that left several injured and the police overpowered by an irate crowd. The leaders have condemned President William Ruto for backtracking the country to the Nyayo era. Melita Oletenges has the details.
Panic, confusion and scampering for the nearest exit as former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his allies fled noxious tear gas fumes after a tear gas canister was lobbed and exploded in the dais where they were seated. The incident took place as Nyandarua Senator John Methu was delivering his speech. The clergy too was not spared in the melee, as what was supposed to be a Thanksgiving for Shamata Ward MCA turned into a teary event, a bitter development and a distaste to those gathered here. The main suspect, this man, handcuffed by the police, who is allegedly a police officer in civilian clothing, said to have thrown the canister, the crowd baying for his blood. There was a fierce exchange between police officers and the crowd as they tried to contain the situation, but they were overpowered and bolted out of the scene. The aftermath on the dais, broken chairs and a disgruntled lot and leaders.
You cannot govern people by force, and you cannot force them to do what you want. Mutaongea na hao wa Kenya, mjue nini mewakasirisha, you address that problem. Hii maneno ya kuharibu mikutano ni maneno imepitwa na wakati.
Wacheni kufanya vile Moi alikuwa anafanya. Wacheni tabia ya kutishia wananchi na viongozi. Wacheni tabia ya kulazimishia wananchi vitu ambavyo hawataki. Nataka pia niwaambie mlichaguliwa kwa hiari, sio kwa fujo.
Siku ile ulikuwa umefinywa sana ukiomba maombi ya maaskofu. Wale maaskofu ulipata ni hawa. Juzi ulisema hawajasoma. Siku ile ukiomba kura, haukujua kama wamesoma. Hata ukikosea kila mtu heshima, usikosea Mungu heshima. Hata ukinikosea mimi heshima, usikosea Mungu heshima.
It is exactly a month since Gachagua was attacked in Limuru during a burial ceremony, exposing the rising political temperatures and intolerance in the country. The former DP says his tribulations are well orchestrated by the government.
Hata mkiharibu mikutano, hata mkituma vijana wakuja na mapanga, hata mkikuja na tear gas, hii watu yote walitoka kwa UDA.
Police have launched investigations into the incident to ascertain the motive of the attack. Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV.
The Controller of Budget has flagged travel extravagance in the three arms of government, with MPs leading in splashing billions on both domestic and foreign travel. The first quarter report by the Controller of Budget shows that in only 4 months, 3.5 billion shillings was spent on travel. Stephen Leto has the details.
Always on the road, if not splashing billions in the skies. The Controller of Budget report has unmasked what is now turning to be a total disregard for austerity measures. In 3 months alone, the three arms of government spent 3.5 billion shillings on travel alone, with 2.5 billion shillings spent locally and 1 billion shillings spent on foreign travel. The Controller of Budget report says MPs have turned to honourable extravagance, with the National Assembly members spending 870 million shillings on domestic travel in 4 months and 173 million shillings to tour other cities outside the country. The other wing of the Senate is on Control of Budget's radar for spending 345.7 million shillings on domestic travel and 80.6 million shillings on foreign travel in 4 months alone. Other departments in Parliament, like the Parliamentary Service Commission, in the same period has spent 10.7 million shillings to move around. The Parliamentary Joint Services has on its end gobbled 94.6 million shillings during the same period under review by the Margaret Nyakango-led office. The Office of the President during the same period spent 11 million shillings on domestic travel and 1.3 million shillings on foreign travel. Another expenditure by the President was incurred under State House, where 43 million shillings was spent from July to October on domestic travel and an additional 5.8 million shillings on foreign travel. The expenditure flagged by the Controller of Budget, indicating a total disregard of austerity measures announced by President William Ruto. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
President William Ruto has assigned cabinet secretaries more roles ahead of the vetting of 3 nominees on January 14, 2025. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has been designated as the acting CS for the Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy. That is until the nominees complete the parliamentary approval process. Aiden Duale and Salem Vuria also got additional roles, as you'll hear now from Willie Lusige.
President William Ruto has reassigned key cabinet dockets following recent nominations. In a statement issued on Saturday, the president tasked serving cabinet secretaries with temporarily managing vacant portfolios until the newly nominated cabinet secretaries assume office. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi will act as the CS for the Ministry of ICT. Environment CS Aden Duale has been assigned to Agriculture and Livestock Development, while Sports CS Salim Vuria will oversee investment, trade and industry.
Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture.
These roles became vacant on December 19, 2024, following a cabinet reshuffle. Former ICT CS Margaret Ndungu was appointed Kenya's High Commission to Ghana, while Agriculture CS Andrew Karanja was nominated as ambassador to Brazil. The trade docket became vacant after Salim Vuria was reassigned to Youth Affairs and Sports, with CS Kipchumba Murkomen moved to Interior. Former Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui, former Kiambu Governor William Kabogo and former Health CS Mutahi Kagwe, who were nominated to the cabinet, are scheduled for vetting on January 14, 2025 by the National Assembly's Committee on Appointments, chaired by Speaker Moses Masika Wetangula. Willie Lusige, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Residents of Limtidi village in Kisumu County staged a protest over the poor state of feeder roads in the area. The residents accused elected leaders of laxity, saying that their pleas to have the roads repaired have fallen on deaf ears. And as Laura Otieno reports, business activities between residents of Kisumu and Kericho counties have been severely impacted due to lack of a proper road network.
Residents of Limtidi village in Muhoroni took to the streets to decry the poor state of transport within the area. Gaping holes along the Koru-Ochoria road, telling of the situation that residents have endured for nearly 6 months. Motorbikes are the only means to access Limtidi, with residents expressing fears of a total paralysis in transport should the rains continue.
Mvua ikirudi itaenda. Hata nilikuwa nataka kupelekewa mahari, hakuna venye ng'ombe itapita hapa ikienda huko. Wamerudi na ng'ombe huko juu barabara ni mbaya. So tunaomba usaidizi ya kujenga hii barabara ikuwe sawa.
Sasa hii mama mkongwe amekufa hapa. Atujue tutamleta aje. Juu tumeshapata pesa ya ni mchari na ya hash. Tutalipa hash na hash abaki huko kwa lamu na tubebe maiti na miguu yetu. Ama tukae kama punda tubebe maiti kwa migongo.
This bridge is also at risk of total collapse as it caves under the weight of motorists using it on a daily basis. Area residents have accused the local leadership of laxity, saying their pleas have been falling on deaf ears.
Tulimpatia kura, hiyo barabara haijatengenezwa. Kenya alifanya ni kukuja na kuiharibu zaidi. Sasa tunasema wenye tuliwachagua wakule ya mwisho. Mwingine hapa anaitwa sijui MCA ati Komudho. Komudho ameshindwa na kazi.
Sasa kama mnaweza tusaidia, mtusaidie ili tukue na amani. Hata hii shimo yenyewe hata juzi ndio kuna mama mwenye alibakwa hapa hivi. Ilikuwa tujua hii shimo juu kijana alijificha kwa hiyo shimo. Akambaka hata saa hii alishikwa korokoroni.
The road from Koru Bible to Ochoria is also damaged, forcing travelers to use alternative routes. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
We take our first break on Citizen Weekend. Thank you for staying with us on Citizen Weekend. Recurring and frequent drought in arid and semi-arid regions of northern and northeastern has forced pastoralists to abandon livestock rearing and engage in farming to feed the population that has over the years relied on relief food whenever drought strikes. Our reporter, Boniface Barasa, brings us the story of the potential that lies in northern Kenya in curbing food insecurity.
In the interior part of Isiolo County lies the Fasa village in Garabatula sub-county, a place that is largely populated by the pastoral Borana community, and whenever drought strikes, it is one of the worst hit areas. Similarly, when the sky is open, there is floods, with majority of residents living along the riverbanks of Ewaso Nyiro River are forced to relocate to safer grounds due to ravaging floods. A move that has always informed the over-reliance by residents on relief food from government and non-government organizations to salvage the situation. Daudi Golich, a resident here for more than 2 decades, understands well the devastation occasioned by the extreme weather conditions.
Sisi tulikuwa wafugaji. Hatukuwa na chochote ya kutegemea bila ufugaji. Dilali kama ya juzi ilikuwa kama miaka mizima mifugo sikaisha. Watu wakawa na njaa. Wase wakawa wanaumia kabisa, wakafa wengine. Tukawa maskini.
Zamani tulikuwa tunategemea relief. Lakini hiyo relief pia haitufiki. Njaa ilikuja ikamaliza watoto. Watoto walichukua kashoko kwa sababu haina chakula. Ukosefu wa chakula, hakuna chakula kwa nyumba.
The devastating effects of prolonged drought has seen residents slowly turning to farming as an alternative venture to guarantee them food security.
Kumia nilipanda chamba ni kunde, dengu, ni mahindi, yote iko hapa. Njaa unaenda
na banda nyanya na dengo na kunde, mahindi mtoto nakula, ile made ya mboga na uza mtoto na nguo na nalipa fee ya skuli maisha mzuri.
These water pipes are used to supply water from Iwasonyiro River to these farms using water canals that has made the farming dream to be a reality.
Kama vijana tulikuanga na mali, kazi yetu sana mbele tunafanyanga kuiba mambuzi, tumbenda na tangu kuvunja maduka. Alhamdulillah siku hizi tulisaidiwa na Wasonyiro, tulipata mapipe. Sasa tunafanya kazi ya shamba kama vijana, tuko mzuri, tumewacha keje tunafanyanga tembeleni na sasa tunafanya kazi ya shamba. Alhamdulillah tuko kuvuna.
Actually, if the right measures are put in place and these areas are put into production, full production, they will have enough water, they will have enough food for themselves and excess for even sell to other areas, which will even augment their income and even actually forget about the pastoral economy forever.
The locals have lauded the move that will help them fight malnutrition, food insecurity, as well as assure them of better income with surplus in place.
These efforts paints a picture of the potential of the northern Kenya in achieving food security if better measures are put in place to make this a reality. Bonfas Barasa, Citizen TV, Garfasa Village, Garbatula Sub-County, Isiolo County.
The United Nations Security Council on Friday adopted a resolution to authorize the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia, and that is from January the 1st, 2025. In the resolution, approved by 14 of the Council's 15 member states, the UN Security Council said that it had endorsed the AU Peace and Security Council's decision to replace the AU Transition Mission in Somalia with the AUSSOM. The AUSSOM is expected to continue to carry out important tasks, including combating terrorism and protecting civilians in Somalia. The United States abstained from the vote in protest against the funding model adopted. A senior military officer who is accused of killing a 74-year-old civilian in a police canteen will spend 5 days in custody to allow prosecution time to conclude investigations. Emily Chebet has the details.
Sergeant John Kimani Muturi, a Kenya Defence Forces officer who is accused of attacking civilian Maurice Gashanja on the 25th of December at Githioro Police Station Canteen Pub, was presented before Nakuru Senior Resident Magistrate Vincent Adet for allegedly assaulting a civilian whom they were having a drink at the police canteen.
The respondent, John Kimani Muturi, before arraigned in this court, was in our custody. For allegedly assaulted and fatally injured one Maurice Gashanja Gadhiru through kicks and throws.
The prosecution had sought 14 days to detain the military officer as they conclude their investigations to establish the reason behind the killing, arguing that the KDF officer was likely to interfere with the process. Senior Resident Magistrate Vincent Adet, however, granted 5 days.
The role of the respondent in post-mortem forensics analysis, as highlighted, is non-existent, further undermining the rationale of continued detention. So the applicant has failed to substantiate as well the reasons why he needs to check on the background information and how it will aid their case.
The senior resident magistrate ordered Muturi to be taken to hospital. The case will be mentioned on January 3rd. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Nakuru City will soon have 2 world-class sports facilities if the plans to complete the Fraha Stadium and Keringet High Altitude Training Camp meet the set deadlines. The county government of Nakuru is confident that once complete, the facilities will meet the international standards. Miriam Nyambura has more.
The refurbishment of Fraha Stadium in Nakuru commenced in April 2021. 3 years down the line, and this is the new look of Fraha Stadium. In the first phase of the upgrade, The county government worked on the football turf, installed a tartan running track, and constructed changing rooms to meet FIFA international standards.
We also did a tartan track that is approved by FIFA. So we had to ensure that even the contractor that we are getting is a contractor who has previously done this work to ensure that we meet those standards. So that have always been considered. And then on the pitch, we've also done some irrigations, the pop-up sprinkles that are going to ensure that this stadium is going to remain green all season of the year. We've also done another grow tank of a capacity of 600,000 litres.
The initial cost of the World Bank funded project was 651 million shillings, a figure expected to increase by an approximate 50 million upon completion. The first phase, which includes 2 pavilions, will have the stadium seating capacity at 10,000.
But also on the pitch, we also redid the pitch. We had to cut off, the whole pitch and redo it again to meet in the international stadium. Then we also did the track. That was very critical, and this one has complied with the FIFA standard.
77 kilometers southwest of Afraha Stadium is the upcoming Keringet Sports Center in Kuresoi South Sub-County. The altitude of 2,600 meters makes it ideal for athletics high-altitude training.
Kwa hivyo ni juu zaidi kuliko hata sehemu kama Iten, juu zaidi kuliko kama Nyahururu ambayo imesifika sana kwa mambo ya mbio. Kwa hivyo Keringet inakuja kutokea kwamba itakuwa training camp ambayo itakuwa inasaidia sana katika kukuza wakimbiaji katika Kenya na sehemu hii ya Nakuru.
I would say we are about 95%. In the next 1 month, kazi zote ambazo zimeanza hapa zitakuwa zimekwisha. Na hii facility itakuwa ya maana sana kwa all the athletes together with other sports, other disciplines. Umeona kama vile sasa we have done the racing track, tutakuwa na racing track hapa. Tutakuwa na other field activities.
Keringet area is well known for producing international stars, including 1,500 world record holder and Olympic champion Faith Kipyegon. According to the county government, the 2 facilities will go a long way in nurturing sports talents, while at the same time enhancing sports tourism.
We even have some athletes from the area ambao wamekuja wana use our track kufanya training. Tunamalizia pia triple chase as soon as in that 1 month. So every athletic requirement itakuwa ikifanyika mahali hapa Keringet.
The upgrading of Afraha Stadium as well as other stadiums in the country to fit FIFA standards is set to boost the country's chances of hosting the Continental Championship, Africa Nations Championship CHAN, as well as the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations Finals. Marian Nyambura, Citizen TV, at Afraha Stadium in Nakuru.
And that report by Marian Nyambura concludes Citizen Weekend on this Saturday, the 28th of December 2024. I've been your host, Olive Burrows. Our sign language interpreter has been Yula Nzale. See you tomorrow.